Have you ever found yourself asking these questions? What's the best acoustic guitar I could own for songwriting? What are the best tone woods for songwriting? What's the best body shape? What is the best brand to buy? What's the difference between brands, body shapes, and tone woods? Does it matter? Probably the last one is the biggest one in my opinion, and that's the one that I have come to ask myself more and more, even after buying this guitar. I've just started songwriting over the last probably 6 to 8 months now. I've been taking it seriously. I've been writing songs over the last probably 3 to 4 years now, and I just didn't take it really seriously. I wrote a few that were decent, but not good by any means, and now I'm starting to write some that are better, but not great. And someday I hope to write great music. And an important thing for me in that process is what tool am I using? So this Martin is a GPC. It is an American made, so made in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. It has a built-in pickup system with a built-in tuner. It has rosewood back and sides. The camera's probably gonna pick up all the glare off the light, but they're really, really beautiful, solid rosewood. It's got a pretty wide neck on it. I think the nut width is 1 3/4, something like that. Leading up to buying this guitar, I didn't have any money for it and had to save. I didn't know what I wanted because I had played a few guitars that I liked, but I didn't know what would really inspire me to write new music, what would really resonate with me as a player and help me in my style. So there were multiple things that I had to think through. The first of which was volume. I needed this guitar to be able to do a whole lot of things. So what I settled on was a Grand Performance, or if you were buying Taylor, it would be Grand Auditorium body shape. It's essentially the same size as the Dreadnought. The body length and the body width on the lower bout are the same as a Dreadnought, but the sides are scooped in a little bit more, giving it a little bit more of a versatile tone. Instead of, like, if you think a Martin like a D28 would have kind of a boxy bluegrass sound, and something like this is supposed to be a little more well-rounded and be able to be used for different genres, but I still needed that volume. So that's how I decided on the body shape. Another body shape that I see a lot of singer-songwriters using would be something closer to a triple O, a smaller body shape, which would be, this one I think would be an OM body shape. This is my Honar guitar, and I'll come back to that in a minute, but that has laminated sides on it. I don't even know what wood. I assume mahogany and spruce on the top, but I don't even think that the top is solid spruce. So I decided on the shape based on the volume I needed and being able to cross over different genres a little better. I'm not a bluegrass player, and I play some country music, but also some Christian music and some that would be a little closer to rock territory, and I needed to be able to cover all three of those with one guitar because I obviously couldn't afford, $3,000 instruments. I couldn't afford to buy a Dreadnought, an OM, a Jumbo, or something like that, and that just wasn't feasible. So once I decided on the body shape, I had to think about tone woods. So the second thing I thought about was, do I want a rosewood back and sides? Can I afford rosewood back and sides? Because most of those guitars are, if you buy one brand new, probably going to run in the $1,700-$1,800 at the lowest for a Gibson or for a Martin or even for a Taylor, something like that. And that was the other thing I had to think through, being that could I afford to get the tone woods that I really wanted. I decided on spruce because it is supposed to project a little better, and once again, when I am doing music in an area where I can't use an amplifier, I really needed that extra volume. So spruce it was. And then I'd heard the best tone wood for a singer-songwriter is rosewood because of the EQ. Supposedly, if you were to look at EQ, it would be sort of a smile with the treble, the middle at the bottom, and the bass, and your voice is supposed to sit where your mids would be on a normal guitar. However, what it came down to with this one is that I really can't tell the difference. It is nice and loud. It is boomy. It actually sounds pretty good when you do play bluegrass style, but it's definitely not a delicate sound by any means, if that makes sense. There is a boldness to the sound, and sometimes that's actually kind of hindering in writing music, because I want to write something that's a little softer, a little warmer, a little more touching, if you will, and this guitar doesn't do that well. I have to adjust the way I play very heavily to be able to account for that. The next thing I had to decide was what brand to buy. So once I decided on the Grand Performance or Grand Auditorium body shape, which if you look at the specs between a Martin and a Taylor, they're very similar, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing knowing that you can get essentially the same thing. It's a bad thing wondering if you can actually get the same thing. So I realized that to buy a Taylor or a Martin, if I wanted to buy a Martin, I could possibly get a Mexican-made, brand new GPC for right around $1,100, $1,200. And that's a pretty good deal. It would have all solid wood, back and sides, and it would have been made in Mexico. And Taylor, the same thing, except for that you get laminate back and sides on their 214 and 114 models. To upgrade to a 314, the only ones I could find were Sapele, and they're United States made, but I didn't want the Sapele. I wanted something that was a little bolder, a little bit better for what I thought at the time was the singer-songwriter. So it turned out that I found a deal on a used Martin with rosewood back and sides and chose the Martin over the Taylor. The Taylors I didn't find particularly inspiring. I played an 814 that was beautiful, and I would still love to have one at some point, but it just didn't really inspire me. And I played a 414, and it was nice, but once again, wasn't really inspiring. That same day at the guitar store, I played a Martin GPC 11 Custom, which had Cirrus back and sides, which is kind of similar to rosewood as far as a tone wood goes, but not identical by any means. But I really love the way it played. I love the sound of it. And real quick, I'm definitely not an expert on this, whether Martin, Gibson, or Taylor, but to me, the Taylor has a little bit more of a modern sound, whereas the Martin has a little bit more of a bluegrass sound, if that makes sense. It has a little bit of a twangier sound, a little bit more traditional, what you would think of for even a lot of traditional dreadnoughts. And I really like that sound. That resonates better with me as a player. So the question is, what is the actual best guitar you can get as a singer-songwriter? I think that that question is better answered by playing guitars and by knowing your own style. This one for me is great. Is it the best I could have gotten? I don't think so. I think there are better guitars that can do more out there. However, I do think this is extremely versatile, and I love playing it. It plays great. I just got it set up. I got new strings on it, and it sounds amazing, plays amazing. I have written quite a few songs on this already, and it's my number one guitar right now. But as far as is it the best, I don't think so. The reason is there are so many different guitars that do so many different things. I don't think there actually is a best guitar. Right now, if you're a player that has something entry level, like let's say a Fender that came with a gig bag, a few picks, and a free course on how to play guitar, maybe you paid $150 to $200 for it, and you're looking to upgrade. I would say pretty much anything Martin, Taylor, or Gibson, you almost can't go wrong brand new with those guitars if you can afford them. And if not, there are tons of more affordable options out there that work very good for the same thing. Is there a best tone wood to buy? I don't think so. Once again, like I said, my ideal tone wood was rosewood because I had heard that it was better for singer-songwriters. But because I have a lower voice, I'm not necessarily able to fit my vocals into the mids of this guitar, the scooped mids so-called. And personally, I don't really notice a scoop in the mids when I play this guitar, But that's just me. Maybe I just haven't trained my ear well enough yet. When it comes down to if there is a best body shape, like I said, I don't think so. I've written tons of songs on this guitar right here as well. I shouldn't say tons. I'm still a fairly new songwriter. But this OM style guitar, I've written quite a few songs on it, and I would say a lot of them are just as good, maybe better than the ones I've written on this guitar. And I've only had this guitar for about 3 months. This one I've had for 12 years now. And it doesn't sound good, it doesn't play great, but it does do something different when I play it. It inspires me to write something different. And I keep using the word inspire. That's because of another YouTuber that I had seen, that he always says, play what inspires you. Not necessarily something that is so extravagant that you just play $1,000 licks on it because it's a $1,000 guitar. His point was that you should play something that you enjoy playing, that the way it sounds and the way it feels help you write something new or help you play something better because of the way it feels in your hand, because of the way it feels in your head. And I definitely agree with that. So the question, is there a best acoustic guitar for songwriting? I don't think so. I think that you as a songwriter, your experiences are going to make great songs and not necessarily the tool that you use to write them with. That doesn't mean that there are not better tools to use for it. And especially if you're getting into recording or if you're getting into playing live, you should definitely save towards buying a better instrument. However, is it necessary to write good music? I don't think so. Not personally anyways. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome. And I would love for you to stick around. I've got some more songwriting content coming up, possibly a channel name change, just to kind of get back to more what I'm doing now instead of acoustic scribblings. So if you are subscribed to me and you see a channel name change, I would ask that you don't unsubscribe just yet. So thank you guys for watching. Have a great one. We'll see you later.